Alright, why is Adam in Ghana? Episode 1 of many. So I'm working with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, MOFA, on Agric as a business. But first, a word from our sponsor.
All the cool kids know how to grow cassava. Do you? Well, fear not, because Farming with Decorah, episode 1 will help you.
You should grow in big ones they are under.
Stay tuned for later in the broadcast.
Alright, and back to Agric as a business with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. So I'm working with them, MOFA, to help farmers increase their incomes by taking Agric as a business. And by doing this, they can provide, hopefully, sustainably for their family. That is the main goal. So for some farmers, it'll mean shifting their mindset from increasing yields to increasing profit because of market prices. They're not always the same. And for other farmers, it might mean looking at farming as a viable business and not just something you do to survive. And for other farmers, it can also mean not just waiting around for a loan for some Westerner or NGO to give you a loan, but to be a strong group and actually qualify for a loan. Okay, sweet. But still, I haven't talked about how I actually fit in. Well, first of all, I'm not coming with all the answers or a business suit because that would be foolish, and I'm working my butt off, and I don't know how to play golf. But it's a good time, so it's kind of cool. So more how I see myself fitting in is in joint problem solving. You bring two people together with different skill sets and perspectives, and they're much more valuable than just two people on their own. 1 + 1 = 4. And I'm also bringing a tool called Agric as a Business, AAB, that'll help the AEA in their job. So first of all, let's look at how are the different stakeholders here. We have me, the little orange man. We have the Agric Extension Officer, called an AEA, which is the little blue person. And then we have the farmers, which are the little purple people, and their land. So let's remove me for a minute. How does an AEA work with farmers typically? So I've only been here for a while, but this is my understanding. An AEA visits farmers in groups, usually, because they have thousands of farmers to take care of in their zone or operational area. And so they typically advise the group on when to plant, what to plant, how to plant. They're like the real technical people. Like, if you have a problem with something, you come to them and they're like, oh, well, you should have done this, or you could do this. That's basically how I see them working. But they also do other things too, like helping groups get a loan, stuff like that. Alright, so let's bring me in. My first little while, I'm straight up learning. I need to understand things before I can try to help make a difference or improve impact. And then now I'm getting to the phase where the AAs understand why I'm there. I understand more about the actual realities, and we're starting to use this tool called Agric as a Business, which is the big, beautiful orange wrench. And the idea of the wrench is that it's going to increase AEA's ability to work with farmers so that the farmers will make more money. Mucho profit. Alright, so to do this, it's basically coaching. They're going to have this tool, but I'm going to help coach them. And it's important here to know that, well, you can watch the slides for some fun, but to think of it as an analogy of an athlete. All great athletes have a coach. A coach helps make someone go from good to great. But it's also really important to understand that the coach is not the athlete. The coach can't do, usually, what the athlete does. So although I'm helping to make the AEA great, I can't do what they do. They are their experts. I'm just there to support through goal setting, motivation, as well as reflection and helping to further their goals. That's kind of how I see my role. High five! Alright, so what is AAB? What is Agric as a business? What is this tool? Well, first of all, it's a series of 8 laminated cards that an AEA will use to interact with farmer groups in a participatory fashion. The cards help create strong groups, and once the groups are strong, then to increase their business skills. It is important to note that farmers are already using these business concepts to varying degrees. For example, some farmers are illiterate, while others can read and write and have solid mathematics. And everyone is doing a small amount of these things, like business planning, maybe they're keeping records in their head, but more on the dirt of the details will come later, so I don't lose you now. But rest assured, there's plenty of dirt. Okay, so the first 4 are all about setting up the strong foundation for the group. And the next 4, it's all about business time. Getting down. Alright, so we're going to use a visual analogy of growing a cash crop to explain the AAB topics. Number 1, if you start with a rotten seed, well, good luck with the rest of your efforts. Likewise, every farmer group must be aware of their strengths and have a positive vision for their group if they're going to be successful. Number 2, the group meetings are, yep, you guessed it, where farmers meet. Ooh boy, that was a doozy. Alright, seriously. Strong farmer groups meet regularly with or without the help of an AEA, just like sunshine and rain. These need to be regular or the strong seed will fail. Group meetings consider things like how members participate, how decisions are made, taking minutes. But every plant needs nutrients it absorbs to grow. Farmer groups need moolah, or resources, from which to base their work. This includes things like farmers paying dues to the group's collective savings fund, opening and using a bank account, and keeping financial records. Can't do anything without those nutrients. Number 4. The group puts a stake in the ground and decides on a group project. They commit to planting the metaphorical money seed. So this might be something like, they decide that they're going to grow 10 acres of maize, as a group, or individually, kind of more fun stuff there later. Number 5, the business plan. Alright, now we're starting to see some serious progress. The business plan is where things start to get exciting. The group goes through their group project from start to finish, listing all the expenses required to start the project, to the final sale of their product. Then the group makes an estimation of their income by multiplying the yield by the expected market price at the time of harvest. A good AEA will also help them consider potential risks and discuss how they plan to pay the required expenses. The AEA plays an important role here in facilitating this process. Number 6. Yep. This card, record keeping, doesn't sound too fantastic. But I'm going to bring in an expert here to sell you on it.
Either I gained or I went at a loss. Through these records, they can tell me either I gained or at a loss. Okay, this young farm, if after weeding inside, cleaning and finishing everything, then naturally the total of amount wasted there, my own energy is not involved. Then I total it down.
Okay.
Then when I have start harvesting the yams, anything I sell out, I record it down. Anything I sell, I record it down. But what I crop and what I have got from the harvest, then I compare it to the expenses I made. Then I'll find out the difference. Either I made a loss or I made a gain. Then I encourage myself. If I made a loss, then I'll find out what caused the loss. Is it the rains? Or I misused the food? Or I misused the money? Or the cost involved in my labor time was too much?
Woohoo! That man, Takora, is my neighbor, and we went to check out his farm just on Friday. Really early, 5 a.m., before I went to work. Yep, early morning. But I love it. It is the practices of successful farmers like Takora that the AAB card encourages other farmers to adopt. So we're not just like throwing theoretical stuff at people. These are like best practices other people are using. We're trying to help other people use them as well. Number 7, marketing. When I hear the word marketing, I think of advertising and Coca-Cola. But at this stage in the game, marketing has more to do with how a group can come together to have more purchasing power of inputs and selling power of their product. What time they should sell their product at to get the best price? It is essentially all about understanding the market for their product. Number 8. As already explained by Takara, this is the point where we chop down our money tree and see whether we made more than our recorded expenses, and what we will do with our extra cash, or what we will do next time to improve the outcome. Does this all sound too simple? Alright, good on ya. Thinking critically, it's important. So, now it's your turn. Imagine that you had to give your stamp of yay or nay for the project. What would you like to know? This is your butt on the line. Don't be like an elephant and just stand there. Get to the dirty questions and, send them to me and we'll have a discussion. Sweet. Alright, until next time, here is Takora to teach you a little bit about cassava. To plant, you're actually chopping up an old piece of cassava and transplanting it into the earth. And it takes about 1 year to grow, so you need to be constantly growing it, and you harvest kind of last year, as far as I know.
This thing. You should grow in big ones, they are under. And then you see break the ground.
Oh,
the
okay.
root breaks the ground.
You can see it.
A sign. Okay, after you peel it, you dry it. And when it's dried, they pound it into powder. They use that to stir our teasers.